Hi, Sarah. You caught me. I'm glad you caught me. How are you? Such a gloomy day. I mean, it's December. Persephone's in the underworld. So I suppose it's always gloomy in December. Excuse me. Your birthday's the 25th. Same as Jesus. Should we argue about when your birthday is? Maybe it's January 6th. Depending on if you're Russian or British. How old will you be turning this month? You're old. 39. Older than Jesus. In a certain sense, yes. You experienced more rotations around the sun than that particular man. But, you know. He didn't make it. Maybe he did. Maybe he's just living in your heart. You never know. Little pulmonary parasite. That's how it goes. All right. Good morning, Charlie. I've heard fan theories basically saying that Jesus went to India and absorbed non-dual philosophy before returning back, right? Or that Mithra was of Persian origin, or there's lots of things that people say, right? But we're far from history, and we're deep in mythology at that point, right? What was this character that we created that might have some links to some historical dude? What was he doing between 13 and 32? Well, he was eating and sleeping and pooping and peeing. Yeah, right. There's plenty of stories that people. Oh, there's a gap in the narrative. I can have my own narrative there. What was Enoch doing? Well, he was screwing angels because Genesis has 3 sentences about him. I don't mean to be dismissive of that. I think that's a very important mimetic practice that humans do, right? That's how canon gets made, is you just layer and layer and layer upon it different stories, story upon story upon story. The issue is when we try to claim that one version of the story is authoritative over all the others. Good morning, Kasia. How are you? But of course my story is right. It's mine. It wouldn't be mine if it wasn't right. You're clearly missing the picture. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Pika Potato, I miss you too. I wish I were making TikToks right now. Gosh, If you go on the Discord server, you can see some of the scholarship I'm doing. I was posting quotes in Discord for a while because I thought that was a thing to do. I'm reading like the most tedious and boring education literature because I'm trying to get done with my degree, and it's not hard, but it is emotionally hard. It is not technically difficult to do, but I find it injurious to my soul, and I don't even believe I have a soul or believe I have beliefs, but nonetheless, it's hard. Yes, hit the like button a bunch, Butt Flaky. Good morning, Kimmy. How are you? Vahafta את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודייך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר נוחים מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך וחיה כי ויחיו אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר למילאת וברות הצבים אשר לא עשת כי ערים מזיתים אשר לא נתת והלכת ושבת הישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תשכח מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. Good morning. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. Listen, Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh is one. Okay. So we're all here, we're all in the same place, we're part of the one same universe. The whole thing is a monad. All differences between you and me are illusory. They're all part of the Maya, right? We can just combine vocabulary from as many traditions as we want into some eclectic mush of nothing. Because that's what the universe is, right? Or not. Maybe I'm just speaking gibberish. What is this theology that I keep on insisting to repeat to you? Why? Why do I care? Because it gives me comfort to think that this sense of separation that I've lived with for my entire life, this sense of otherness and difference, is just a facet of something else, right? That sense of otherness and difference is in fact evidence of the unity that I already am with everything else, right? If the universe is whole, then I do not have to feel so incomplete all the time, because I'm part of that whole thing. It's fascinating, and people find comfort in fascination. Yes, this kind of theology, this way of thinking, is a place that my mind can go even when I am in my deepest distress, for whatever reason, right? Like, I can go there, and so I go there, and it structures who I am. Thank you, Pika Potato. I appreciate that. So, let's read some old stories. Dumuzi is being besought. Dumuzi was killed. Or maybe he got away. His sister is seeking him. I would make an excellent parrot, Marie. I think about that. A few years ago, I went to a sperm bank, and they sent me to a room, and it was filled with, like, the worst pornography. It was terrible. And I was, like, probably the most dysphoric that I ever was. Right? It was like a week or two before I started HRT. But I put the sperm in the bank, and I felt very uncomfortable about it. This like big leather armchair. It was gross. I mean, it was like very clean, but it was just like the whole setup was not made for trans women. I'll tell you that. Right, so that experience sort of forced me to like, oh my goodness, like yes, I might make another human one day. What would that be like? I don't know. I think about it a lot though. Probably in the next few years it will happen. If it can happen. You never know. I might not be the only one in my family that's infertile. In any case, the dream of Dumuzi. That's where we're at. The dream of Dumuzi. Well, all children are adorable, Pika. Unless they're not. Unless they're terrors. Sometimes they're terrors. So let's read about what happened to Dumuzi after he was seized by the demons of the underworld. Abi, it's been a really long time. How are you? I'm really glad to see you today. How old is your kid, Pika? Thanks, Erica. I'm doing okay. I was worse a little earlier, but today I'm in an acceptable mood. Yeah. Acceptably fine mood. His heart was filled with tears. The shepherd's heart was filled with tears. Dumuzi's heart was filled with tears. Dumuzi stumbled across the steppe, weeping. "Oh, steppe, set up a wail for me. Oh, crabs in the river, mourn for me. Oh, frogs in the river, call for me. Oh, my mother, Sutur, weep for me. If she does not find the 5 breads, if she does not find the 10 breads, if she does not know the day I am dead, you, O steppe, tell my mother. On the steppe my mother will shed tears for me. On the steppe my little sister will mourn for me." But I'm doing the wrong voice. Dumuzi's a boy. I should sound like a boy for that. Anyway. He lay down to rest. The shepherd lay down to rest. Dumuzi lay down to rest. As he lay among the buds and rushes, he dreamed a dream. He awoke from his dream. He trembled from his vision. He rubbed his eyes, terrified. Dumuzi called out, Bring her, bring my sister, bring my Geshtinana, my little sister, my tablet-knowing scribe, my singer who knows many songs, my sister who knows the meaning of words, my wise woman who knows the meaning of dreams. I must speak to her. I must tell her my dream. Good morning, Batya. How are you? Dumuzi spoke to Geshtinana, saying, "A dream. My sister, listen to my dream. Rushes rise all about me. Rushes grow thick about me. A single growing reed trembles for me. From a double growing reed, first one, then another, is removed. In a wooden grove, the terror of tall trees rises about me. Water is poured over my holy hearth. The bottom of my churn drops away. My drinking cup falls from its peg. My shepherd's crook has disappeared. An eagle seizes a lamb from the sheepfold. A falcon catches a sparrow on the reed fence. My sister, your goats drag their lapis beards in the dust. Your sheep scratch the earth with bent feet. The churn lies silent. No milk is poured. The cup lies shattered. Dumuzi is no more. The sheepfold is given to the winds." Hi, bluebells. Geshtinana spoke, interpreting Dumuzi's terrible dream. "My brother, do not tell me your dream. Dumuzi, do not tell me such a dream. The rushes which rise all about you, the rushes which grow thick about you, are your demons, who will pursue and attack you. The single growing reed which trembles for you is our mother. She will mourn for you. The double growing reed from which one, then the other is removed. Dumuzi is you and I. First one, then the other will be taken away. In the wooden grove, the terror of tall trees which rises about you is the Gala. They will descend on you in the sheepfold. When the fire is put out on your holy hearth, the sheepfold will become a house of desolation. When the bottom of your churn drops away, you will be held by the Gala. When your drinking cup falls from its peg, you will fall to the earth onto your mother's needs. When your shepherd's crook disappears, the Gala will cause everything to wither. The eagle who seizes a lamb in the sheepfold is the Gala who will scratch your cheeks. The falcon who catches the sparrow in the reed fence is the Gala who will climb the fence and take you away. Dumuzi, my goats drag their lapis beards in the dust. My hair will swirl around in heaven for you. My sheep will scratch the earth with bent feet. Oh, Dumuzi, I will tear at my cheeks in grief for you. The churn lies silent, no milk is poured. The cup lies shattered, Dumuzi is no more. The sheepfold is given to the winds. Scarcely had she spoken these words when Dumuzi cried out, My sister, quickly go up the hill. Do not go with slow, noble steps. Sister, run! The gala, hated and feared by men, are coming on boats. They carry wood to bind the hands. They carry wood to bind the neck. Sister, run! Keshtinana went up the hill. Dumuzi's friend went with her. Dumuzi cried, Do you see them? The friend cried, They are coming. The large gala who carry wood to bind the neck. They are coming for you. Keshtinana cried, Quickly, brother! Hide your head in the grass. Your demons are coming for you. Dumuzi said, My sister, tell no one of my hiding place. My friend, tell no one of my hiding place. I will hide in the grass. I will hide among the small plants. I will hide among the large plants. I will hide in the ditches of Arati. Keshtinana and Dumuzi's friend answered, Dumuzi, if we tell your hiding place, let the dogs devour us. Your black dogs of shepherdship, your royal dogs of kingship, let your dogs devour us. The small gala spoke to the large gala. You gala, you have no mother or father, no sister, brother, wife, or child. You who flutter over heaven and earth like wardens, who cling to a man's side, who show no favor, who know not good from evil, tell us, who has ever seen a soul of a frightened man living in peace? Let us not look for Dumuzi in the home of his friend. Let us not look for Dumuzi in the home of his brother-in-law. Let us look for Dumuzi in the home of his sister, Keshtinana. The gala clapped their hands gleefully. They went searching for Dumuzi. They came to the home of Keshtinana. They cried out, Show us where your brother is. Keshtinana would not speak. They offered her the water gift. She refused it. They offered her the grain gift. She refused it. Heaven was brought close. Earth was brought first. Keshtinana would not speak. They tore her clothes. They poured pitch into her vulva. Keshtinana would not speak. And this is a used book. I bought this off eBay. Excuse me. I bought this off eBay, and whoever was reading this book before, they wanted you to know that pouring pitch into a vulva fucking sucks. So the demons, they're torturing Keshtinana, trying to get her to reveal the hiding place of Dumuzi. The small gala said to the large gala, Who, since the beginning of time, has ever known a sister to reveal a brother's hiding place? Come, let us look for Dumuzi in the home of his friend. We will end there. They don't actually say what happens to Keshtinana after the pitch was poured on her genitals. It's a really terrible story. But we will pause there, and we can continue tomorrow to find out if the demons ever find and catch Dumuzi and what happens to him. Winter Bambi, I am so happy to hear that. Wait, I still need this one. Yeah, I guess you're catching the end. We're like halfway. I mean, I'm taking my time today. We've been streaming for 20 minutes. Sometimes I'm in a rush and 20 minutes is my max, but I think we'll be here for another half an hour or so. You live in a giant cabin, Sarah. Halfway. Yay. Yeah. Breakfast today? No, I didn't put any rice in the rice cooker. The house is really empty right now. There's only 3 people here, so it means I can go downstairs and have access to a full pantry. So I'm not going to eat rice. What does my day look like for me today? I am going to have some meetings with some professors. That's basically what I'm doing all day. Like, my life has shrunk down. Good morning, Dr. Punk. My life has shrunk down into a very narrow box. And it's often quite unpleasant. I work on my thesis and I go to therapy. I'm in therapy with my father because my father thinks that I have a drug addiction and that has caused me to become a woman. He doesn't recognize that I'm a woman, but he does recognize I have a drug addiction. It's really painful. It's like profoundly, profoundly painful. And I'm like working on it and chewing on it. And so I talk to therapists all the time and I work on a thesis and I rarely leave the house. And it's like, it's not an existence I'm proud of. But it does enable me to hang out with you. So that's good. Yeah, my opinions about many things are swirling around. Well, I'm glad that your children think that I'm a whimsical forest fairy. That is absolutely the vibe that I aim for, right? Like, I don't think that physically in person I'm a whimsical forest fairy, but I can certainly be a virtual whimsical forest fairy, right? That is absolutely the way that I would like to be remembered and the way that I would like to be seen. So, yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I think so, Katie, right? Like in 6 months, I'll have a degree, and I will probably just stop speaking to my father because, we're getting nowhere. And I'm tired of moping all day long, feeling like this, like, weird intergenerational trauma pain. Like, I'm sick of it. But, yeah, I'll let you know in a few months, what my life is like. And I'll start making TikToks again, right? Like, in June, I will start making films about mushrooms and, be outside again, and it'll be really nice. Well, I did that, Sarah. We like basically stopped talking for 3 years, and then I asked him if he would see a therapist with me, and he was like, sure. And so we've been seeing a therapist for about 3 months, and it's just like deeply painful. Like hijacks my whole emotional awareness. No, how could you, right? Like I'm I'm a little box, right? I'm a little fairy in a box. Like you couldn't possibly have context. Um and so I wonder what stories I should share with you, not because like, oh, that's private, but because like it's so difficult to put context into this little, like I share this time with you every morning and we read stories about demons and goddesses and we say old words and I tell you how grateful I am that you're here, because I'm so grateful that you're here, and we repeat the same thing over again, and it's often context devoid. Yeah. Basically impossible to articulate a huge entire situation, right? And like, do I want to explain to you what's happening in my graduate programs? Like, not really. Like I don't find it very interesting. Like I find it terribly boring. And when I'm here with you, I get to be someone else, like someone that I prefer to be, right? Like I get to be this fairy in a box. And fairies in boxes, they don't they don't need to be as complex as I experience myself to be, right? Like I don't actually think that's necessarily what you need, right? Like you don't need all of my flaws, and my my the things that pain me, right? Like that's not what I want to give you. So I give you this image. Yeah, like I did want to talk about it today. I don't know exactly why, because it's been on my mind. Like I've been more upset about it over the weekend than I have for a while. Some little mind virus got into my head and wouldn't stop eating me. So I'm talking about it, right? But that's also, I don't know. Have I ever had a spiritual awakening? I've never used those words, but I've probably had experiences that you would describe that way. I'm a real person. I'm allowed to not be in a box that you think your content is in. But the question is my content allowed to not be in that box? I don't know if it would be understandable if I didn't box it up, right? You wouldn't hear it. Thanks, Bambi. I appreciate that. My content's allowed to not be in a box either? Okay. Alright. I don't know what to think about that. Do I have a religion? Yes, it's right here. Every morning I wake up and I repeat the same words with the same people, and it makes me feel good. Yes, I do have an Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's linked in my bio, Bambi. Certainly there's my Discord server's in my bio and my YouTube channel at the very least. And there's also links to like my Koji social media thing, and you can send tips there if you want to do the support thing that way. That makes a big difference. Like, it really does. Yes, if you get me a real cup of coffee, then there would be no box. That's true. I want to make you feel good. That is my intention. Right? Like, that is why I'm here. Like, I think that it is possible to devote a life to an orientation towards the all. And that makes me feel good, and I hope it helps you too. Sometimes just talking about things a bunch with people that you don't truly know can help you think. I mean, that's literally what psychotherapy is, right? Like, I've been doing this intense thing. Like, I've been seeing a therapist with my father, and then I've been doing this intense thing with a personal therapist. I see her 3 times a week. It's nuts. Like, I've never done something this intense. And it's a lot. Like, it's definitely a lot. This is an element to your day. Good. Maya, yes. Here, let me introduce you to my grumpy cat who doesn't like to be picked up. Here she is. You've been here since 1993. Things just keep getting strange. The internet, that is. You've been on the internet since 1993? Really? When you were what? 6? 10? It is really beautiful how strangers correct. You're just here for grief time? I don't believe you, Dr. Punk. I do wonder why you're here. Like, I wonder why everybody's here, but I don't believe that is why you're here. Not that I have very firm guesses. You can't find a therapist with a 6-month waiting list. It was really hard. I was basically on a 6-month waiting list to see this therapist. I saw another therapist for 6 months, and then she had to go. And she's like, why don't I transfer you to this one? And this one's better. That old gateway when you were 10. I had one of those. Well, my mother did. In, like 1995. Uh-huh. You're here for the clout. Do I give you clout? Is that a thing that I can impart? Abby's been here for 2 years. She gets clout. MIRC. I did use IRC. Yeah. I know you're joking, but I love you anyway. Okay, I think we should conclude. Yeah, therapist transfers suck, right? Because you share all this, like, intimate details of your life with them, and then they're just like, okay, bye. Right? You know nothing about them. Like, I guess that's the point. Like, anonymity can do things, like being in a relationship where you know nothing about the other person and you don't expect anything of them is, like, important therapeutically, I guess. But I find the whole paradigm puzzling in some deep ways. I'm glad that I had time to actually, like, hang out and chat with you all. Like, sometimes in the morning I'm not in the right headspace, and so I just say the words in the foreign language and then leave. It's nice to chat with you. It really is. Thank you all for being here. Okay. So, let's conclude. We'll say Arati and Kadish and we will move on with our days. The word Arati means flame in Sanskrit. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkantaramana Venkantaramana Sankatarana Sita Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanistaraya Sanistaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankaracharya Sankaracharya Advaita Gurave Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Grubho Namaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Natatrasya Bhati Natandrakara Tamnima Vidyobhati Kutaya Magni Tomeva Bantamanabanti Sarvam Tasya Basya Samitam Vivanti Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Yaha Namastitam Namo Namaha Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandusha Saka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidnam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasandriyarva Budyat Manava Prakrite Sabhavad Karomi Yad Sakalam Parasmahi Narayana Iti Sarmar Payami Savajamam Pravichayam Become Savanam Vicha Aham Svasarva Papayo Mokshayami Masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these I dedicate to you, to all of you. Thank you so much for being here today. You know, I used to live close to New York City. I used to live on the train that led into New York City, and so when I was in high school, I went to New York City in the wintertime, but I haven't been there in quite some time. I've been avoiding cities for a while, but I think next year I will be spending a lot more time in New York City. I don't live too far away, about 3 hours. Yeah, my life is gonna shift one day in about a year. I'll let you know. You'll be hearing more about it because I'll have more time for you all. And I really do want more time for you all. So, we will conclude with Mourner's Kaddish. The word Kaddish means holy in Hebrew. I do live near Amish communities. Yep, in this part of upstate New York. We get a lot of our farm equipment from Amish businesses because they make good stuff. So, Dr. Pronk is here for grief time. Maybe I do believe you, right? We all have things to grieve. So, often when I say Kaddish, I don't think about any particular grief. I don't think about any particular, loved one that I've lost. Like, obviously I do say Kaddish for people. Like, my friend Sabina died a few weeks ago, and that was quite a shock. But often when I say Kaddish, I like I think about my own mental state, right? And I mourn it, right? Like I wish to be different, right? Like, to me, that is often what the Kaddish is. The Kaddish is a plea to change, right? To be able to let go. Right? And one of the really special things about this prayer, I think, is just how flexible it is, right? Like, I read the English translation to you a couple months ago. The English translation to you says nothing about grief. It just, right, like, it just says, like, God is great in this, like, kind of unpalatable, like, Sky Daddy, please, oh, Sky Daddy way, right? Like, I don't really want it. But nonetheless, I can say those words, and I can say them in Lashon HaKodesh, right? The holy language. And they can mean what I need them to mean. I feel selfish when I grieve for my former self too, right? And I don't quite know how to relate to selfishness, right? How to relate this experience that I have constantly of being a deeply self-absorbed person, right? I think that is what it is to be a person. Right? So I get defensive about it, even as I criticize myself for it. It's very complicated, right? And we're all imperfect. So say Kaddish, right? We grieve. We grieve whatever it is that we have to grieve, or that has been imposed on us to grieve. Yep. And we do it together, because when we grieve together, the emotion can actually move, right? Like, I do think that there are some human emotions, perhaps most human emotions, that can't actually be processed by a single body, right? Like, they need to move through social systems in order for them to transform into something else. So we grieve together. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Shema Rabba. Biama Divrachiote, Biam Lich Malchate. V'chai Chod, V'yom Echad, V'chayede Kolbe Israel. Bagala, V'zman Kariv, Yomru. Amen. Yehe Shema Rabba Me'ba'arach Li'olam, Omei, Almaya. Yitbarach V'ishtabach, V'itba'ar, V'itramam, V'itnaseh, V'itadar, V'itale, V'italal, Shema Dekudish Abarechu. Leila Min Kol Birchata, V'shirata, Tush Bechata, V'nechemata. Diamiran Biama, V'yomru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'yachol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imramav Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu V'yachol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imramav Huya Aseh Shalom Aleinu V'yachol Yisrael V'imru V'imru Amen. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. And for so many other days that you have joined me to say these words and so many other words over and over and over again. It means the world to me. So, if you'd like to support this stream, this little community we have here, I really do care about being able to devote my time to you like this. So, one thing you can do, if you are so inclined, is you can check out the links in my bio. You can subscribe on Patreon or through TikTok. You can leave a one-time tip. I feel mixed always saying this, in part because, like, half of you already have done that, right? There's 11 people here, and probably half of you have already done that, right? So why should I ask you again? Because most people exist in the world by asking other people for money, and content creators just have to do it in this funny, transparent way. Anyway, doesn't really matter, right? What matters is that we're here. Because maybe there are new people in here, silly. Yeah, it's true. There are a few. I don't want to bother you. Like, I hate it when people ask me for money because I don't have any money. And yet I ask people for money all the fucking time. Like, that's my job. My job is to ask people for money. You're new here for the first time. Well, hi, TB. Welcome. Well, thank you, Katie. I appreciate hearing that. All right. Well, I will be here tomorrow, promise. And we can say some words similarly that we already have. Because repetition is comforting and builds meaning. Okay. I hope you have a lovely day. See you tomorrow.